I want to start thanking Shay, the choir, and the musicians because it's so perfect. I feel that I don't have to say anything after the reading and the music. There is anything to say. And in fact, I have to be honest with you, it was a test for me to prepare this talk, not only because I'm not very familiar to speak in public, and somehow I find myself often to have to do it, but because it feels so simple, the answer, how should we meet our tests, which is just cling on God and do your best, don't give up. It seems so simple that I didn't know how to articulate it better. So I'll try my best. I want to start with a whisper from eternity. I demand to return home. Impediments, beware. Flee my path. I am homeward bound. Through the long corridors of time, stumbling often into pits of error, then lifted out by thy unseen hand, I have walked painfully, discouraging darkness, barbed wire fences of habit, stony embankments of indolence, mountains of indifference, oceans of unfaithfulness, sirens of sense longing may stand even now in my path, as if to prevent my onward march to thy palace. But 1,000,000 kingdoms and 6 of years of unblemished worldly happiness will never tempt me again to turn away from thee. Paramahansa Yogananda, our guru, whose teachings we follow here at Ananda, always encouraged people to reflect on what is the goal of our life, why we are here. He said that this goal is to release our inner powers, that the way of expansion, the way of progress, of true progress, is to look within ourselves. How easy is that? When in our daily life we are continuously distracted by so many things. We are so inside this, everyday things of life, the more superficial life, the transitional, weak, changeful life that we have identified with that fragility, with that weakness. And so now we are here to, we have the opportunity, we have to make the effort to go back within and, as he says, to release our inner powers, to find out more about who we are. To help us in this endeavor, to help us to have better understanding of life, God send us opportunities, send us challenges, trials, and tests. Those are actually opportunities and blessings for us. And I want to share a little personal story. When I was a little girl, my father was my hero. I really loved him particularly. He was a very loving-hearted man, very kind, and very supportive. And one summer, I was sent for 1 month to a summer camp to the beach on my own for the first time. And I have only few memories. It was not very memorable as experience. I only have few memories. The first one was the first day where I came into courtyard, and there was bread everywhere on the floor. Like there were all these wild kids, being kids, throwing their lunch everywhere. And I was really shocked for some reasons. The second thing I really remember is that every night I needed to look and inspect my bed, because those kids, some of them, like to take their toothpaste and squish it inside the pillows and the beds of the other kids. And so there was always this terror. Before going to bed, it's going to be my bed. So after a couple of weeks, my father came to visit to see how I was doing. You can imagine. I actually didn't have a lot of awareness about how I was doing. But when I saw my father, the difference of energy from what I was experiencing in this camp to the energy of my father was so big that I burst into tears immediately, and I begged him with crying my lungs out, bring me home, bring me home. And so he brought me home. So it always helped me to, when there are tests in lives, I'm not very good at remember this, but it helps me when I remember, that without those moments where we suffer, where we feel uncomfortable, without that pressure on us, will we really cry, bring me home, give me the energy, help me? We will really do that if there were not that strong pressure on us. We would probably not do it, right? So in a way, the teachings tell us that those tests are actually an aspect of Divine Mother, love for us, that is just trying to shake us and say, hey, this is not that real. Look and find what is really real in your life. Look what is really going to give you happiness in your life. I want to share another story. This is from a dear friend and minister of Ananda, Narayani. Some of you probably remember she came last year with her husband, Shurjo, and he wrote a book years ago that is called My Heart Remember, Swami Kriyananda. Now she wrote another book that is My Soul Remember, Swami Kriyananda. So I'm reading this book for the third time, and if you want to know how to overcome tests, I think this is a great book, because it's all about attunement. And if there is one thing that helps us to overcome tests, is really attunement, in one word. So at the beginning of this book, she shared her experience where she was a child, her parents divorced, and it was a painful experience. And when she was a teenager, went through some trouble times where she didn't want to believe in God, she didn't want to, be spiritual. She had a reaction to spiritual life. But when she was in her 20s, she opened up. She started to ask questions, big questions, and she found, guess what? Autobiography of a Yogi. And then she completely changed. In that moment, she found, in her heart, she found the goal of her life. She knew that was it. And so she dived so deep in everything she could find about Yogananda, about Swami Kriyananda, about these teachings. She read all the books. She was continuously listening to the music of Master of Yogananda. When I say Master, I mean Paramahansa Yogananda. And Swami Kriyananda is direct disciple who founded these communities of Ananda. And one thing that was very interesting is that she didn't speak English. She spoke Spanish. That was her mother language. And so she didn't understand very much what she was reading. She made a lot of effort, but she didn't really understand. But what she says in the book is that gave her a great opportunity to attune with those teachings on a different level through her heart, through the vibration, the frequency of those teachings. Well, she was so determined that she prayed God to help her to grow as fast as possible, to help her to burn as much karma as possible in this life, because she wanted to find God as fast as possible. And after a few weeks, after 2 weeks, she felt very ill. And she discovered that she had thyroid cancer. And she was 24. And she was completely shocked because she was very, of course, as everyone would be, frightened, especially to die so young. But also, she was puzzled and shocked because she finally found her path. She finally found her goal, and now there was the opportunity, the possibility that she would die. So it was very difficult. But suddenly, she remembered that 2 weeks before, she prayed to God, help me to grow as fast as I can. And grace helped her to relax into this big test, as we can all imagine, to relax and trust. Well, this must be God's will. And she dived even more deep into the teachings. It was not an easy ride. She went through a lot, but she made it. One of the things that Swami Kriyananda told her in the period where she was unwell, that I think applies to everyone here, is that he said, I know that God and Guru are with you. They will give you strength. So think about that. Every time you have a test in front of you, can you remember, I know that God and Guru are with you and they will give you strength. That's the goal, is to reach for something greater than us. So she put this sentence on her altar, and she said something that really touched me. I faced my surgery. This was before her surgery. I faced my surgery not as a victim, but as a warrior. Not as a victim, but as a warrior. And I think this is such an important point on the spiritual path, because very often, and myself included, when we are challenged, we might feel overwhelmed, we might feel victims of the circumstances, we might feel we are not strong enough, we might react, we might be angry at what is happening to us. And what this does is actually bringing us even more far from God, is taking power away from us, is taking clarity away from us when we react. The clarity and the power that we need to face our tests, to understand what is our lesson here, and to have the strength to make the steps that are necessary. There is a kind of a cute story about a man that was walking in the mountains, and he was walking too close to the cliff. And oops, he fell in the cliff, and he's very lucky because he can grab on a branch, and he starts to cry. And I want to read it a little bit because it's too funny. So he started to cry, "Help, help!" And hours pass, and he started to become pretty weak. It's not, it's almost there, to the moment where he's letting go, but he doesn't want to let go. He's too weak. "Help, help!" So at some point, he hears a voice. Jack, can you hear me?" Yes, I can hear you. I'm down here." "I can see you, Jack. Are you all right?" "Yes, but who are you, and where are you?" "I am the Lord, Jack. I am everywhere." "The Lord? You mean God?" "That's me." "God, please help me. I promise, if you'll get me down from here, I'll stop sinning. I'll be a really good person. I'll serve you for the rest of my life." "Easy on the promises, Jack. Let's get you down from there. Then we can talk. Now, here is what I want you to do. Listen carefully." "I'll do anything, Lord. Just tell me what to do." "Okay, let go of the branch." "What?" asked Jack. "I said, let go of the branch. Just trust me. Let go." There was a long silence. Finally, Jack yelled, "Help, help! Is anyone else up there?" Have you ever felt like Jack? We say we want to know the will of God. We do our prayers, but we are really ready to accept the answers to those prayers. We really accept the will of God, that it doesn't probably match what we think is good for us. Right? Sounds scary and difficult. I'm sure that we all really want God in this room. We all really want that. But the fact is, for all of us, and as we know, probably, that we had made a big investment with our free will in the past. We made choices that were not really helpful, and we have developed tendencies, automatic responses to life, attachments, desires. And so now we need to put the effort. But the good news is that God doesn't look at the results of our efforts. He just looks at our efforts. He doesn't mind if we make it today. He only looks that you try, your heart. He only looks at the heart. There is, where is it? I lost the page. I want to read some words by Yogananda that I would not be able to say that well, that are just perfect for this topic. Use every test that comes to you as an opportunity to improve yourself. Every trial should bring forth the hidden power within you as a child of God made in His image and likeness. Our trials are not meant to destroy us. The right attitude is to use every challenge as a stimulus to strengthen your inner self. If the fighter never battles against stronger opponents, he will never himself grow stronger. In the same way, when you face all difficulties with courage and spiritual strength, you become stronger and more powerful. When you are tested and emerge victorious, you will awaken again the image of God within you, an image you had forgotten, and you will once more become aware that you are one with the Father. So, how we can face our tests is to try our best every day to go within ourselves. And Swami Kriyananda gives this nice example of when we live at the surface of life. You know, imagine that life is a wheel, and we are on the surface of the wheel, and the wheel is turning, and we go ooh, up and down with the ups and downs of life. When we live in that way, it's like being in the ocean with big waves and in a little boat and going up and down. And so to go within, to do our meditation practices, to go in the silence of our souls, is to take an airplane, to go above and notice how all these waves don't have that much importance. I really liked so much the example of Swami Kriyananda about this, because he was visible how many tests and challenges he went through his life, both physical challenges and also all sorts of challenges that probably Riman and Padma and others know much better than what I can share. So he faced a lot in his life. But when people would tell him, wow, you faced a lot, he always was a little bit like puzzled, because he said, through all these difficulties, through all these trials, nothing ever could touch the love that I felt for Divine Mother. That was the most precious thing for me. And compared to that love, every other thing were just not that real. They didn't touch me that much. And this is something that is not philosophy. It's something that, we have so many examples, and I'm sure that all of us in this room have experienced that when you meditate, when you do any spiritual practice that helps you to calm your feelings, to go within, even when you are in nature and you feel you are in the present moment and your awareness expands, whatever practice that will help you to raise your consciousness, you feel that what were the big problems of your life, they don't have the same hold on you as before. And Yogananda said, Swami Kriyananda said, the drama of life becomes a joy because every fall lifts you up. Every suffering leads you to good. And when you can understand that you live at this center of yours, and that the kingdom you seek is not outside of you, it is very simple. There is nothing to think about it, nothing to figure out. If you place yourself like a child, putting yourself in God's hands, you will see that He cares for you. It is not that He is so great that He cannot even notice your existence. He is as present here as even in the most distant galaxy from us. And so he he said in different, Swami said that really the essence of facing our life challenges is to develop this love for God, authentic love. It doesn't have to, it's not, again, a philosophy, something we can read about, something that we have to experience inside ourselves. And once we experience it, we understand. It's true love that comes understanding. Saint Therese d'Avila, she said that in a moment of contact with God, in a moment of ecstasy, she learned more things that she could learn in years of, mental thinking in one instant. So it's true love that we can understand our life, and we can learn our lessons. There is a Sufi saint, Rabia. She was dying, and she was in great physical pain. And 3 of her disciples came to visit her and comfort her. And one said, "He is not a true lover of God who isn't willing to suffer for God's sake." And she said, "This speaks of egotism." And then another disciple said, "He is not a true lover of God who isn't happy to suffer for God's sake." And she said, "No, more than this is needed." Mother, tell us, what is the sign of a true lover of God in the face of suffering? And she said, "He is no true lover of God who doesn't forget his troubles in contemplation of the beloved." Okay. I don't know how much time more I have because I didn't check the time. So if there is one message that I understood, through these many years and, studying the teachings, is really that we have so many tools, so much that has been given to us to find that real relationship with God. And the most important one is meditation. Meditation, and if we are Kriyabans, is Kriya Yoga, is in that controlling the reactive process. That's where the battle happens in our life. It's where we can calm our heart's feeling that we overcome our challenges. Meditation and devotion. There are many other things, but I had to choose 2. In devotion, a beautiful quote of Swamiji, he said that when we have problems, is because we have turned away from devotion. That if we really have that love for God, problems are not that, again, real anymore. And so meditate every day. When we are challenged, it's more difficult to meditate. So what we have to do is what Lahiri Mahashaya said in autobiography. He said, if you don't seek for God in the summer of your life, you will not find him in the winter of your life. Means if you don't look for God when everything is easy, when everything is pretty and beautiful, when you can more easily meditate, more easily chant, more easily keep yourself positive when you have challenges, it will be much more difficult if you didn't develop that habit. So we have to develop every day that habit to think to God as much as we can, to reach for his help, to ask him to be instruments for him, to find him in the silence of our meditation, everything, all the tools that we have. There is Yes, one last story that I hope it will give you a smile. This is about a devil in training, little devil in training. And he went to his training as a little devil, and he was amazed that the big boss came and speak to him and give him his first mission. That was to go to Mr. Joe in London, because this Mr. Joe every morning would get up at 4 o'clock and meditate for 3 hours every day, and that was not possible, not acceptable. And so you have to go there and try to create some distraction, try to create some obstacles for Mr. Joe. So the devil is very excited, and he goes and observe what Mr. Joe does in the morning. So the alarm clock ring at 4 o'clock. He get up, he meditate for 3 hours, then breakfast, clothes, and he goes to work. So he has an idea. Okay, I'm going to, when he fall asleep, I'm going to take the alarm clock away from him, and then as soon as the alarm clock rings, I'm going to stop it. And so he's not going to get up. And so he does. And the morning after, Mr. Joe doesn't wake up. He wake up at 7, and he just rush out of the door and goes to work. So the little devil is very excited, and he goes to the big boss, very proud of himself about it. I have accomplished my mission. And the big boss is not happy at all. He said, "Oh, you fool, you had to stay with him all day, because when he rushed out of the door and he went to work, he was so upset that he didn't meditate that morning that he thought of God all day, and now we have lost him forever." Okay. Let's end our this talk together with one last thought of Swamiji Kriyananda. Where is it? Swami Kriyananda years ago was asked by a magazine in Italy to give an interview, and they asked him 3 questions. Who is God? What does God give us? And what does God want of us? So who is God? He is not a person. He is neither he nor she. And he is both he and she. He is everything our souls ever craved: perfect bliss, immortality, complete consciousness, Satchidananda. And he is defined by those who are familiar with the concept of absolute perfection. He is nothing and no one apart from him. There is nothing and no one apart from him. All that we see around us is but a part of a cosmic dream. Who is God may be paired with another equal question. Who are we? For in our deepest reality, what is left when we strip away all superficial definitions is that germ of consciousness within. There, as Jesus Christ implied, lies the secret of God's reality. What does God give us? He gives us our eternal birthright, the freedom to seek him or reject him. Nothing else is our own. No possession, not our personalities, not our talents, not our homes and families. When we misuse the gift of free will by running after worldly desires, we lose freedom and commit ourselves to voluntary but unknowing slavery. What does God want of us? He wants, so my Guru Paramahansa Yogananda often said, the one thing he doesn't have, our love. This is the same thing as saying that our true self will never find fulfillment until it merges in divine love. Thou hast made us for thyself, said Saint Augustine, and our hearts are restless until they find rest in thee. Om.